Welcome back to part 6 of air dry painting and style. I think we'll stick with that title. Now, I noticed when I uploaded the videos from my camera to computer, I did a couple of boo-boos by saying the wrong parts, but don't worry, when I upload them to YouTube, you will have them in the right order. Now, I forgot to put my gloves on, so I'm doing that now. Bear with me. Okay, so, suffering from a bit of a sinus infection. No, correct that, a lot. So, if I put you on pause, you'll know why. It's either because I've got a coughing spasm or whatever goes with these lovely types of upper respiratory infections. Ouch. Now, I stopped the modelling on these babies, and as I said, these are all going to be available for sale as soon as I finish them. The modelling is lovely, as is. I feel that they don't really need any more. Actually, no, I lie. I did a yellow and white lemon colour model on them off camera. But what I was going to explain is that it's up to the individual artist how much or how not so much modelling there is. And I feel for these babies, this is enough, okay? You could go on and add 8, 10 layers of all different colours that you think is bringing the skin tone to the colour that you want. Now, what I'm going to do today is the veining and the blue tone on the skin. So what I've done, I've added 2 blobs in this palette. One blob of Colonial Blue and the other one Pythalo Green. And in actual fact, after I put them in the palette, I thought I could have actually even have gone Pythalo Green on its own, because it's the correct colour for me, for veining. So what I'm going to do now is just mix up as I have been mixing. It's a smaller area here, so I'm not going to put as much water in it, although I don't want to have it too intense either, especially not for veining. I'm putting 1/2 ml of the Stroke and Blend in here, which, as I explained it in previous videos, is what helps the paints not dry as quickly, so that you've got more time to work with them. And I am going to put, I'm going to get my syringe, whoops, I'm going to put in about, that might be too much. I'm going to put in about 3 mils of the distilled, actually it's 4 mils of the distilled water. Actually may not even use all of this. So I've put in 2 of the 4, and I'll leave this aside in case I need to add more. I need a brush. Now, the here, soaking since yesterday. Been very busy of late, and I haven't had time to really do what I enjoy doing. I've had to catch up with other aspects of the same thing, if you know what I'm saying, like packing and sending babies off and yeah, all those sort of things. I'll use this to mix it. Now you can see actually when the water and the Stroke and Blend go into it, it is rather a greeny colour, so I'm glad now that I did add the blue. But I don't want really, really blue veins, so this I think might be just ideal. Okay. If anything, it's still a little bit too green, but this is only for veining. I'm not going to use it for the blue areas that I want to do. Just trying to think whether I'm going to try it. Am I? I don't know. I don't know if I'm game. May need a little bit more blue. I'm not that game, guys. End up with green strokes all over babies. So I'm just going to add another little dollop of the Colonial Blue. Come on. Here we go. And mix that in to tone down that green a bit. Now, what What were we after? Put that in a minute. Whoops. So here we go with the blue. Now, getting the consistency of the paint right for veining is pretty crucial, because I hate veins that are predominant. I really do. But then if you can go the other extreme and they're too subtle. Oh. So anyway, trying to get the colour right and trying to get the consistency right is a battle in itself. We can only try. Okay, so where is my brush that I use for veining? Oh, this will do. I use a very fine brush, as you can see, and I shall start with someone's head. Okay. Pick up a little of the paint, and I always get the excess off on a little hand napkin, or whatever they, yeah, napkin. Whew, I'm going to start at the top of the head. I don't know if you can see me, guys. And very lightly see what this colour's saying to me, in as far as, and I blot straight away because I don't want predominant lines, as I said. Okay, I'm happy with the colour, I'm happy with the consistency, so I'm just going to very lightly continue along. And as you know, veins are not straight lines, and they fade in places and are more predominant in other places, but they're wiggly lines. I've got one just sort of going behind the ear there, and I'm bringing another one down towards the temple. And as I do each part, I am blotting off straight away, because blue is a very highly pigmented colour, as it's all these colours, but even more so in blue. And if you get stuck making a mistake with blue, trust me, you won't get rid of it. It's a powerful colour. So that would be about what I would do as far as veining goes. And if you find that it's a little bit too dark, just get your cosmetic sponge and well, I call it buffering it. I just buffer it so that it looks like it's just underneath the skin. See? And you've taken the excess blue off. You can see on the sponge there. So that's what I would do. So I have that one vein there. I haven't loaded the brush again, as you can see. And I'm just taking the next vein down to the centre of the head, and I like it to come down just a little on the forehead there. It's a vague sort of line. So the sponge is not, the brush is not overloaded. So it's very hard, guys, to concentrate on what you're saying and what you're doing at the same time. And when it comes to sculpting, it's my phone. It's even more difficult. So I'm going to look into how to do voiceover videos, because it's so much easier than trying to concentrate on what you're saying. Okay, so that's the other vein there. Okay, I think it's time I did pick up some more of the paint, and I'm letting a lot of it come out on the napkin. And we're going to start slowly and see what, yeah, that's good, what consistency we're getting in the way of veins. And that one's come down all the way there. It's a light vein, which is what I want. And then we'll do one behind the ear. I'm running out of paint, so I'll load it up again. And down we go. And I've probably got too little paint on, so I go over it again until it becomes as dark as I want it to be, which is not very dark at all. A little bit late in the day. I should have really started earlier, but as I said, I was really caught up with doing other things, and people sort of, eagerly awaiting for babies. So I had to get them all organised and sent off to their new mummies. There we go. There. That will do me as far as the veining goes. This is already dry, so it's pretty pointless me going over it with a sponge. So you've only got one chance at this. Get it wrong, and it's gone. The opportunity's gone. I'm just going to darken this one just a little fraction. There we go. And that for a head will do me just fine. I don't like over vein. Now, because this baby's going to have hair, either painted or mohair, I'm not going to do much more veining up on the top of the head. Okay, so you can stay there. Now, with the legs, the only areas I do veining on is just down the side, avoiding the ankle bone. So go around that. You can see there, a very light vein. And it comes down like a little V. If you've got no idea about veining, you can do a Google search and just type in baby veining guide or something to that effect, and it'll give you charts and examples. Okay, and that's about the extent to it. Okay, so I think if I was here with a natural daylight being stronger, we're into autumn now and the days are getting considerably shorter, almost winter, and so if you don't sort of get in early, the daylight doesn't last for long. It becomes darker earlier too. That vein's a little bit darker than what I would have liked, so as I said before, go slow and reload if you have to. It's not ridiculous, but it's about as dark as I go. Okay, so on top of the foot, I don't sort of put a lot of veining, but just like a couple of little squiggly lines here and there. So take off the excess paint and just sort of bring down just a couple of lines. And that will do it. Up there. Hope you guys can see it. Okay, so that's done, that's done, that's done. With the hands, okay, if the baby has curled over fingers, I'm just looking if I've got one here, the veining can extend a little over the knuckles. If you clench your fingers the same way, you'll see your own veins doing that as well. I generally start from just about there with a little squiggle line and bring it down into the top part of the hand, like that. Put a little bit more paint. And then I just sort of, like a little V, I'll drag from the main line that I just did. I'm getting too cautious with the paint, I think. And just gently take it over the knuckles. So it'll be a wiggly line and then just over the knuckle area there and onto the little fingers there a little bit, because this baby's clenching her or his hand. Okay. If the hand wasn't clenching, I'd be disinclined to do that because the veins wouldn't be showing on top of the fingers. So that's a bit hard on there a little bit. Anyway, that was quickly onto it before it cured, so that's okay. And that's about the extent of the veining I'd do on the hand. On the back part of the arm, I generally just either do 2 parallel lines as veins. Some people do more veining, and it's up to the artist, but I don't. And I just sort of do, or I do a Y. I just go like that and down. So it's very, very vague. A lot of this veining, by the time I'm complete with the babies, won't really even be visible unless you really look hard. So I'd rather that than having lines, veins that look like drawn on lines. So I'll check it again. It's already dried. So yeah, I don't overdo it with veining. So that's it. It's done. Now for a leg. Oh no, we've done a leg. We've done a hand. And we're just going to do an open hand just to show you. So I'm going to come down again the same way and come into the little hand. Now this little finger is bent over, so I just go a little bit onto the finger from the main vein. Okay, and then I'll stem again down to here and do like another little upside down V over here, perhaps one leading into the thumb area. And if I want to extend it a little bit more up here after I did that, that's fine, you can do that. Just depends. Okay, so that's done. The parallel lines I was talking about before, very simply, just two, oh, I haven't picked up enough paint now. Just two lines parallel to one another. Okay, that's quite simple. And blot off the excess. And it's done. And me and my stuffy nose are going to complete the rest of the, go over it again, guys. If you're not certain on something, you can always do that. I'm going to complete the rest of the babies that I'm working on currently. And I'll be back with you for part 7, which will be the blue tones where the baby's skin is a little bit thinner in places, and it's got that blue hue to it. It is a step that you've got to be careful how you do it, because blue, as I said, is a very predominant colour, and you just need to be really, really careful with it. But anyway, we'll discuss that in part 6. So that's your veining. I can try zooming in, but the light here is not so good today. I can go up here, I don't know if you can see it. Zoom in, and you can see the veining there. And there. Oops. Okay, catch you next. I'll give you half sayings. I'll catch you next time.